We are live. Hey, everybody. Greg Ryder, CEO of LaunchCart, coming at you from Escondido, California, where it was a rainy day this morning and starting to clear up. But I want to bring on Joshua, and he is our Director of Technology, and he's going to do a walkthrough with, what are we going to do a walkthrough? We're going to do a walkthrough of our shipping and taxes. Hey, Josh.
How you doing, everybody?
Doing fantastic. Hey, listen, if you're watching us on Facebook, you got to click the little link and give StreamYard permissions to make a comment. Then you can comment and I can see your comments. I can share them on the screen. And I think there might be something you can do on YouTube. But regardless, if you comment, no matter where you're at, I should see your comments coming in. I might not see your name, but just you can ask your questions or comments as we go. We'll make sure to get those answered for you as soon as possible. So Josh, you got your screen shared. You want to just kind of start talking about the shipping and taxes and what's going on with that and do a quick little walkthrough?
Yeah, so these are big updates that we pushed out last month, and I'm going to walk you through each one of them. I'll start with shipping, and then we'll jump to taxes next. And if you have any questions while I'm going through this, go ahead and submit a chat like Greg said, either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll try to answer those as we get them. So I am currently logged into one of our store accounts, and I'm on the shippings page under settings. And this is where you configure all of your shipping rules. And so we've added a lot of options here for some of you advanced sellers, and I'm going to walk you through those. Now, before I go into the custom rules, I do want to say that every store comes with a default shipping rule, and that's right here. And we've set up some default shipping rules for your store automatically, and we customize them for domestic zones and international zone. Now, a domestic zone is the country that your store currently resides in, and we find that out through your store location here. So if I click here, it'll take me to my store location, and if you click there, it'll take you to your store location, and whatever address you have filled out, that is your domestic basic country. And then anything other than that, other countries will be your international zones, because when you're shipping out products, there's going to be different rates for, shipping them out closer to your store address versus going overseas and to other countries and so on and so on. So by default, all of your products that you create, if you enable them to be calculated for shipping, they get attached to this default shipping rule. So if I edit this rule, we'll see what's going on here. And I should say the only exception to any of this is Printful. So if you're currently setting up Printful products, unless you add a Printful product to a custom rule, then none of these settings apply. Basically, we pull Printful's rates from their API and we calculate the actual shipping cost that they charge you, and we charge the same rate to your buyers. So you should be aware of that. And there is a little exception notice right here that kind of talks about Printful and how this stuff down below doesn't apply unless you add a Printful product to a custom rate. So without confusing you, let's just walk you through this. Going from top to bottom, it's very simple. So first, you have products, you create products, and then you assign a product to a shipping location. So we have two different shipping locations that we've created, and then we have shipping rates. So this is basically telling the system, okay, you have a product, where do you want to allow this product to be shipped to? So we've created some zones here, a domestic zone, and we come in here, and this is just the Americas because it's domestic. And then we have another option where it says international, and this is rest of world. So I can click here and I can click edit. And this basically, this thing that's checked right here, this is telling the system that include every other country that's not included by any other shipping location here. So since I already have my domestic zone covered, there's a bunch of countries and other places that are not covered, and this one's covering that. So if you combine this one and this one, we ship to the entire world. That's what it's saying. Okay, so once again, you assign your products to some locations that you're allowed to be shipped to. Now, this is useful if, let's say you want to ship products to one country, but you do not want to ship those products to another country. Well, if that's the case, you wouldn't enable those countries in this option. Okay, does that make sense? So if I wanted to only ship to the UK and nowhere else, well, I would create a location here. I would, call it UK or Europe or something. I would make my selections here, and then I'd hit save, and that's it. And then I would just leave it there, and I would go on to the next option. If I wanted to ship all over the world, I might create special rates for Europe and then I might create another country, or I might create another zone for rest of world or for different countries. So once you do that here, you tell the system, hey, these are my shipping locations. These are the locations that buyers are allowed to buy and get products shipped to. Now, I will say that if you do not have certain countries listed in this area, that a buyer that goes to your store, and they try to check out and they add an address that's not included in this section, they will not be able to complete checkout, because of course you don't ship to them. So the system's not going to take their money if you're not going to ship them their products. So you need to make sure that if you do want to ship globally, you need to make sure that you have every global location somehow entered in here, because that is something to be aware of. And we do include a error message, or kind of like a little notice here. If you are missing certain countries or certain parts of the world, we do include a little red flag notice that tells you, hey, you're missing some parts. You may need to go back and add those if you're unsure. Okay, so once you tell the system where you can ship products to, we come down here, and now it's going to ask you for your shipping rates. So you can create as many rates as you want, and we already have a rate here called default shipping. And if I click edit, it's going to ask me for a shipping rate name. This is internal to you. You can give it a description. Once again, this is internal. And then you have a shipping price and a shipping location. So what we've set for our store is we've set a $5 flat fee for global, which basically means everything. Now, if you want, you can come in here and you can create a different rate, and you can select your individual zones. So for example, going back to my original example of Europe, I might have a specific rate just for Europe. Just pretend this says Europe here. And I might charge, $10 for any products that are being shipped to Europe. Now, maybe if they're going to America, I might have a rate here called America. Once again, pretend that says America. And I might charge, $5 for products going to America. And you hit save. And so that's basically how the shipping settings works in a nutshell. It's based on 3 simple principles. Since I'm in the default shipping rule, you don't see a ability to add products since they're automatically added in here. I'll show you that when I create a custom rule. But you basically add your products, you add your shipping locations of where those products to be shipped to, and then you add your shipping rates. So with that said, let me go back, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a custom rule to show you how that works. So let's say that you have all your products in here, and you're like, you know what? That rate for most of my products is fine, but I have a particularly large item that I need to be shipped, and it's very expensive, and it has to have its own unique rate. So what you would do in that case is you would create a custom rule just for that particular product. So you create custom rule, and we're going to call this the large box rule. Okay. So now here's our brand new rule. So once again, here are those 3 options I told you about before. Which products, where can they be shipped, and what are the rates? So if you hit edit products, it's going to pull up a list of your products. And these are all the products that you have access to. So we have a lot of products in this store, and they're very many pages deep. If I want to, I can use a search box and I can search for a particular product. But for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to choose 1 product. Now you can choose as many as you want, but for this example, I'm going to hit 1. I'm going to close this out, and here's my 1 product. Okay, so now where am I going to be allowing this product to be shipped to? Now I can create a location. So I might say, you know what, if it's going to be shipped to somewhere in Asia, I can either pick a particular region in Asia, or I can select the entire region, and I can call this Asia, and I can hit save. So now I have Asia as a shipping location. And once again, as of right now, if I were to configure rates for this and save it, only people that are shipping this product to Asia would be able to buy this product, because I have this message right here that it currently says this rule is not covering 304 countries and regions, which means that customers won't be able to check out for these non-covered regions. Once again, you're telling the system, where do you want this product to be allowed to be shipped to? So any region that you're not covering here, people will not be able to check out if they have this product in their cart at time of checkout. I know it may sound a little complicated, but I'm just trying to explain how the technology works so you understand how to set these up properly. So if I want, I could come in here and I could say, you know what, I want to make sure that everybody gets it. I can come in here and I can either create different rates for every other country and region, or I can just click this checkbox, and I can say, you know, rest of the world. And it's going to include all those regions that I haven't included. So everything but Asia, if that makes sense. So now I have two different locations. And now I can go ahead and I can add a shipping rate. Let me hide this. So I'm going to add a shipping rate, and I'm going to call this standard. Now, I will say what you want to do here is when you create your rates, it's best practice to use the same shipping rate name in this field. Because if you don't, the technology works a little bit differently, and it's going to combine your rates into one. If you use the same rates here, it shows up differently on the checkout page, and it's always best practice to use the same exact shipping rate name. Now, we don't have any shipping rate names yet, so I'm just going to call this one standard. You can give it a description if you want to. And now, if you haven't used that name before, it's going to give you another little notice right here. It's going to say you haven't used this name before. It's going to tell you why, but that's okay. For this example, I'm going to leave it as standard, and I'm going to say this one is going to be an expensive box to ship. Maybe it's $25 because it's a large box. And I'm going to say that is going to be to Asia because Asia is pretty far away from me. Now I'm going to hit save, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add another shipping rate, and I can say rest of world now. And once again, I can call this one standard as well. And now that option shows up because I've used that name before. And maybe this option is a lower price. Maybe it's $5. Okay, so that is one way to set this up. Now, I don't have to create a price for each individual shipping location. I could just come in here and I could just choose global, and I could just set a flat fee for the entire globe. But I'm showing you a different way to set this up. So this is how you have really full control over your products, over where they're shipped to, over where they're not shipped to, and over which rates someone is charged. So this gives you a lot of options. This gives you the ability to give your users, even different rates on the actual checkout page itself. You know, I might create multiple rates for the same product, but I might create one for maybe, standard mail, for express mail, for expedited mail, and those options will show up on the checkout page as long as I'm using the same rate names. So this gives the store owners of LaunchCart the ability to really have full control over their shipping and over their products and over their rates. And this is how it works. Now, we do have videos on this. Right now, we have these videos available right here in our changelog updates. So if you go to new shipping feature, you can click on this, and we do have videos that basically cover what I just covered right now, but you can always go back and watch them. And we should have a replay of this live stream in Facebook and in YouTube as well. So that is shipping rates. Greg, do we have any questions so far? We'll see if we have any questions coming in. If not, I'll go ahead and I'll move on to taxes. But I just want to see if we have any questions so far.
Yeah, so far no questions, Josh. You can keep moving on. Okay,
great. So that's shipping. Pretty standard. I will say that when you make edits to this page, it auto saves. And you can see that by right here. It says page is saved automatically. We can go back, and that's done. So, now we have a few custom rules. We have one here, and we have another one here. And you can create as many custom rules for as many products, groupings of products, or just, per product. It's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this because we do not need it. It's just for a case study, but I'll delete that and leave everything as it was. And let's move on to taxes now. So to get to taxes, just go to settings and then go to taxes. This store, we haven't turned on taxes yet, so I'm going to walk you through how to turn that on, and I'm going to walk you through these other options. So what we found out is when, before this update, we were getting a lot of requests from people who wanted to have more control over their tax rates. As you can imagine, tax rules are pretty complicated. Certain store owners need to charge taxes. Certain store owners don't need to charge taxes. There's different rules in different states and different countries. And we really wanted to open up the ability for our store owners to have full control over their tax rates and make it pretty easy to add those tax rules in their account. So that's what we've done with this new tax setting feature that you're looking at right here. With this feature, you have the ability to customize tax rates for a bunch of stuff, and I'll walk you through it. But before I actually create a tax rule, let me walk you through these first initial options right here. So the first one is an option that says auto calculate tax rates for Printful products. Now, I will say, this is going away soon. We left it up a little bit longer than we originally planned, just to help out a few users and give them time to get their tax rules in here. But this option is going to be removed completely. But let me explain what this is and what it does right now. So if you're currently selling Printful products on your store and you don't have any tax rules, any custom tax rules set up, what is happening is we are going to Printful's API and we're calculating the tax rates that they charge you, the seller of those products. And we're using those same tax rates and we're applying those to your customers. Now, in some instances, that's correct, but in some instances, that's not correct. And we've gotten a little bit of questions about this. And the reason we're removing this is because technically this is not really best practice. You get charged taxes from Printful as a buyer of inventory, right? And then you charge your users taxes as a store owner. And those are very different, and they can be drastically different depending on your business setup and if you're a nonprofit or if you live in the EU and so on and so on. So typically best practices is you would set up your own tax rules for your own store, for your own customers. So this option is going to be going away, but if you have this enabled, and you can disable it at any time, if you have it enabled, we automatically pull in those tax rates that you're getting charged from Printful and use those same tax rates and apply them to your customers. But once again, this will be going away, I think, in less than a week. Okay, so that's what this does. So if you disable it, then your Printful products that you sell, they won't be charged any taxes. If you enable it, then they will. And I should say that if you disable it, they won't be charged the tax rates from the API. But if you have a custom tax rule, which I will get into later, then they will be charged taxes. But as of right now, this store isn't including any taxes if I set things to this, okay, right here. If I set these options to both yeses, then as of right now, this particular store won't charge my customers any taxes. So let me keep going further. So this option down here says, does your product price include tax? For some of our users, they might be already adding the tax within their product price at the time of product creation. And if that's the case, then you don't want our system to be double calculating tax rates. So you would change this to yes, and then our system would know to not calculate taxes for you based on your product prices. But for most users, this is set to no, because like a lot of us, we create our product prices and we give our products a price, and that doesn't include tax. For this second option here, it's very similar. It says, does your shipping price include tax? Once again, some of our users, when they create their shipping prices using the shipping section that I just talked about, they'll include tax. And once again, they don't want our system to double tax that rate. And so they'll select this to be yes, and that will disable our system from calculating taxes on their shipping fees. But for most users, this is set to no. So this is a pretty standard setup right here with both of these set to no. And then the third option down here is taxable location. Where does the Launchcart system calculate tax from? Does it calculate tax based on the shipping address, or does it calculate it based on the billing address of your customers? When your customers check out, they're going to enter in either a shipping or a billing address or both, and the system needs to know which one should it calculate that tax rates based off of. And I'll get more into this when we actually create a rule. But we leave this as shipping address. That's pretty standard practice. But if for some reason you want to change it to billing address, you can do that here as well. So these options just change the calculation for your tax rates and for your customers when they check out. But this is what these options are. And typically, you just leave these alone. You might never touch them, but you have them as an option. Okay, so let's get into creating an actual tax rule. When you come in here, all you need to do is create add tax rule. You press this button and we'll give it a name. So for example, I might create a rule for, let's say these are USA rates. And then you're going to be asked a priority. Now, you may or may not utilize this function, but basically, if you create multiple tax rules and they have the same priority, we're going to add those tax rates together and we're going to compound those. And we have a video on that, but I won't get into the math of that feature, but I do want to continue on. So you give it a rule name. This is just for your reference only. And now we're going to create an actual tax rule. So we might come in here and we might say, okay, this is a rate name for California. Happens to be where I live. Now we're going to select a country, the United States. And then under advanced options, I can actually choose a state. So I can choose California. Now, if you're super advanced, you can come in here and you can actually choose specific ranges. For example, zip code or postal code ranges. And we give you some examples here. So if you wanted to just charge a certain tax rate for a particular region within your state or within your province, you could do that here. And we show you how to enter in the correct values for ranges, for exact, or if you want to do a combination of both, which is pretty rare, you could do a combination of the above. So this is pretty advanced down here. Most of our users will probably never use this option, but this is how you would do it for a state. You would choose your state or your province here. And the only other option we have on this page is to either auto-calculate rates, which tells the system to automatically calculate the best rate for California buyers, or you can turn this off and you can give it a custom rate. And this is totally up to you. So this could be 5%, 10%, 50%, 20%, it doesn't matter. But typically, most of our users would probably leave this turned on. And these rates are provided by a third-party integration called taxjar.com, which comes free with your LaunchCard account. So if you have this enabled and you've selected either a country and possibly a state and hit save, now you have a brand new tax rule in here. And so here it says, right here we have the rule name is kind of the overall rule name that encompasses all your tax rates. And then you have your individual tax rates here. Now I could keep adding additional tax rates here. Right now I have just California. I could add different states on here if I want to. But once again, I don't want to do that because if I add multiple rates here, they're going to be compounded since they're all the same priority. So for example, let's say I added a rate. Well, let's just say this rate. Let me edit this one. Let's say this rate was 50% for the sake of argument. Let's say this was 50%. And let's say I added another rate and I put in, Nevada, which is another state. And I come in here and I choose the state Nevada, even though Nevada doesn't have tax. Okay. And we charge a 10% tax rate and I hit save. These all have the same priority. So what it's going to do is it's going to add the taxes with those of the same priority, and it's going to compound these rates. So typically I wouldn't do this. Typically I would create these separately. And let me just hit save and show you what happens. I know we got a lot going on here, so it's a little bit easier for me to hit save and kind of visually show you what happens when I change screens here. But here we go. So we have USA priority 1, and then we have all of our additional rates here. So these are individual rates. So you can create more tax rules, and you can just keep going on and on and on as long as you want for different countries and for different states and for different regions. And this really all depends on your business, and we highly advise you to speak to some type of tax authority to figure out what you should be charging for tax rates. Us here at LaunchCart, we don't provide any tax information just because we don't do that stuff. We're a software company. But if you do need questions on this, we do advise you to talk to an actual tax representative to figure out what your rates are. The tax rates change all the time and it can be pretty complex. For most of our users, typically, and Greg, you can kind of talk about this too, but most of our users, if you're just selling basic products, it really depends on where you have a nexus in and, what state that your store resides in is typical. But for some of our users, they might have very complicated tax setups. And then for our EU users who have the VAT tax, they can come in here and they can create VAT tax rules for shipping to, Europe-based countries and places like that.
Yeah, no, to me, it's such a confusing thing. And in California, there's so many different counties and each county charges a different tax and all that kind of stuff. And so I just let the system figure it out for TaxJar. But you should talk to you. And again, for anyone that's doing a couple $100 a month, a couple $1,000 a month, it's not even that big a concern. But you should get a tax, accountant or somebody, your accounting, your bookkeeper, your CPA, that has somebody that has some tax knowledge in the e-commerce, or just Google it for that matter. Google, e-commerce, tax rates for e-commerce, and then your city or your state. And then I would think that TaxJar seems to have been the number one, provider in the country to kind of provide this data for everybody. So I'm assuming they're a really good resource for this as well, correct?
Yeah, so TaxJar is like the number one tax calculation service for a lot of e-commerce stores out there. What we are doing is we've integrated with their API. And so what that means is when your customers check out, we cross-reference where your store is located based off of where your customers are going, based off of your tax rules. And we're pinging their API from a technical standpoint, and we're requesting tax rates if you have that auto tax rate turned on. So for example, if I come in here and if I have this turned on right here, then TaxJar is going to send us back the information to auto calculate the preferred rate for that location that you chose. So we don't require you to give us a manual rate like a lot of other e-commerce platforms do. We can calculate that automatically just based on the location that you've entered in here. And TaxJar, they have premium services, and you can pay them monthly, and you can get even more deeper level tax integrations and reports and this and that and other options. And get really complicated. And if you're a multi-million-dollar a year store, I would say there's a decent amount of users who do utilize TaxJar for even advanced, tax services. And I think they can even help you file and do a whole bunch of stuff. But for what we're using them for, we're just using them to automatically calculate rates for you to make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, no, I think that's the point, right? Is you get somebody that's got to do this for you. When you start really building up a real business, you're going to want to do it. And I've always been told that because our company is in California, we have to charge California tax to people that buy from us in California, but we don't charge tax or collect tax on people that buy from us from other places. Again, that's what we've been told, but you guys got to get your own advice.
Yeah, so it's really important that people don't come to us because we can't help you in that regard, unfortunately. But there is definitely other people who can help you and who can get it cleared. And once you get going and once you start selling a lot, this is something that you should definitely get taken care of. And you should set it up properly. And we're here to help with the software, and we're here to help with the technology to make sure that your store is calculating the right taxes and that you have the full controls over the correct rates and the locations that you want to charge taxes for.
And really, I think one of the big questions we keep getting, Josh, is if we are collecting taxes, then how do you get that report? How do I get the report on what I collected?
Yeah, so as of now, the best way to get the report is, you can get it from your individual order details. But what a lot of our users do and what we recommend is your merchant account is powered by Stripe. And if you go to stripe.com, stripe.com, and you log into your merchant portal, and you may or may not be aware that you have that, but if you log in there, you can download full comprehensive, basically reports of all of your transactions. And you can, download these big, huge, long reports, and you can give those to your tax team, and they can, work through those, and, you can utilize that. We do have plans for better analytics being built, and it's coming soon to Launchcart, where we will be able to give you some more additional reporting on taxes and calculations and better analytics and a whole bunch of cool stuff that we got coming. But for the time being, if you really need to get access to comprehensive reports, it's best to go directly to your merchant provider and download those directly from stripe.com. And I will say that we do have PayPal coming soon. Once we enable PayPal, you can log into PayPal and you can download those transaction reports directly from PayPal as well.
Okay. So for the most part, if I leave Printful, taking care of Printful, and I'm just using Printful, I don't have to do anything, right?
For taxes?
Mm-hmm. Because Printful already calculates tax based on their system, correct?
As of right now, but this option is going to go away. And so if you do want to charge tax, and once this option is removed, and let's say you have it enabled, let me turn mine back on. So let's say you have this option enabled and you're currently using Printful's API to calculate tax rates. This option will go away. And once that does go away, if you do want to charge taxes, you will need to come in here and you will need to set up some type of tax rates for your products.
Gotcha. And then do you have to file anything with Printful, or do you know for them not to charge taxes?
Yeah, so if you are an exempt business or if you have nexuses in different locations, or you can submit paperwork to Printful for them to stop charging you taxes. And you can contact them about it. And if you go to Google and you search, Printful tax exempt status, you'll see some articles that will open up and you can read more about that. But I do know that you can definitely contact Printful and you could submit the right paperwork to them, and they will specifically edit your Printful account and stop charging you taxes. I don't know if it's site-wide or for just particular regions or for particular buyers, but I do know that you can submit documents and they will change your tax costs.
Very cool. So the other question I have on shipping is, what do you think the timeline is to be able to hook up something to where I'm making and shipping my own product and I want to create shipping labels?
We're looking into that now. We're looking into, some of the standard, postal service vendors and stuff. I don't have an ETA on that, but I can definitely get back with you guys and figure out when that would be available. I do know that it's going to require a little bit of change to our system to take in a little bit more information from you guys. Like we'd have to start requiring package size and weights and stuff like that. And then we'd have to build in some type of integration with some third-party shipping service. I do know that is definitely on the roadmap, but I don't have an exact ETA on that right now.
Okay, well, here's a question that comes up, has nothing to do with shipping and taxes. Do you have an estimated time for PayPal?
PayPal. So we've been, and I'm going to do an update today to all the people who voted on our feedback page, but we just emailed PayPal today. We told them that our initial development demo should be ready by tomorrow, by kind of late afternoon tomorrow. Once that gets done, we are required to schedule a call with PayPal and have one of their solution engineers on the call, which is one of their technical engineers. They are going to review our PayPal implementation. If there's any changes, we're going to need to make any changes to it. If it's good to go, then they're going to give us the go ahead, and we will be able to push this integration live by probably no later than next week, I assume. And that depends on if we can get PayPal on the phone early next week, or maybe late this week, like Friday. I don't think we'll be able to get them on the phone that early, but if we can get them on the phone and if we, clear their approval process, that it might come as early as sometime late next week.
Yeah, so I think realistically, if the world's really happy for us, maybe by the end of this month, but probably no later than the second week of next month. But believe me, we want it more than anybody. It's one of the most required features we have, or requests we have, as well as we know it's going to increase everyone's revenue, and it's going to increase our take rate, and our conversion rates, and everything else. So it's one of our top priorities. All right, so if there are any other questions, type them in the chat box, let us know. And we want to answer your questions live. Not that many people on. All right, is there anything else we wanted to go over?
I can go over inventory while we're here. It's a new feature that we pushed out.
Okay.
So we pushed out a feature called inventory. It's basically inventory management, and it allows your launch cart store to manage and control and keep track of your available inventory for all your products that you list in launch cart. Now, once again, if you're selling Printful, this doesn't apply to you because Printful, they basically have unlimited inventory and they keep track of inventory. But if you're selling manual products and you want to keep track of which products you have in stock, maybe you have limited quantities available, this is a perfect feature for you to start utilizing right away. So to enable this feature, all you need to do is just edit any one of your products, and there's an inventory checkbox that you can turn on and enable. Once you enable that, you'll be able to come back to this screen under Products Inventory, and you'll be able to see all the products that we're currently tracking inventory for. So for example, here is a shoe product. It's called Cool Shoes. And if I expand it, I can see all the sub variants down below. These are all the different sizes and stuff down below here. And then if I look at this table, I can see under this column, the available column, I can see my actual inventory count. So for example, this product has 10 available. This has 2, 3, 5, and 3. And what happens is as a customer buys these products from your store, these numbers will start to go down, and they'll start to go down, and they'll keep track of what's going on. Now, you have control over the system, and you can tell the system that when this gets down to 0, you can either stop selling this product completely and it will be unavailable on your store, or you can tell the system to continue selling it. Now, this might be useful if you know that you have additional inventory coming and you don't want to miss any sales. And let's say you're getting down to like your last few inventory and you got inventory coming next week, and you're basically telling the system, you're like, hey, listen, I might sell out today, I might sell out tomorrow. I don't want to stop selling. I want to keep selling because I know that in 7 days from now, I'm going to get a big influx of inventory. So you have the option to tell the system what to do here. Now, for this example, we have all of these marked as stop selling, which basically means that if I were to view this page when there's 0 inventory, that the order link would no longer work, and it would just say this product has been sold out. So very nice functionality here. And then you have the ability to come in here and you can change these available quantities. So let's say you got a big shipment of products in and you got 30 new additional items for this particular variant. You could hit save. And now that number went from a 10 and now it's a 40. Okay, now I'm going to set this back to 10 because I don't want to mess things up in the store. And that's basically how you control your inventory. So it's very simple here. And you also have a very nice search engine where you can search. If you have a lot of products, you can search by product name, SKU, vendor, type, tag, and inventory quantity. So you might say, all right, show me all my inventory quantity that is less than 10. Then you hit search and it says, oh, you don't have any products that have less than 10. And so you can search all this stuff here. And you could also change, let me clear my search here and go back. You could also change the view type. So right now what it does is it's the default view for this is it takes your product and it minimizes all the variants into one group. Now, if you want to see all your products and all the different variants, you can expand it and you can see all your products here. So you can just change your view here. But if you have a lot of products in here, it's very useful to use a search box to really find which products you have. And I think that's about it. We went over taxes, went over shipping, went over inventory. And yeah, I think that about wraps this video up unless there's anything else we want to go over. Oh, I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
I was muted. I said we're going to be coming out with some new features next week. Do you want to say anything about those?
Yeah, so we have a reviews function that should be coming here pretty soon, where you'll be able to collect reviews from not only your buyers but also your store visitors. I'm sorry, and you'll be able to display review widgets on your actual pages. So when your visitors come to your store page, they'll be able to see reviews and they'll be able to see, what the reviews is and the average review and a whole bunch of cool stuff. You'll have you'll have a view where you can manage your reviews. So you can see all your incoming reviews. You can see which ones are pending, which ones are active. You can see which ones are verified from customers or not. You can create your own reviews. If you want to import reviews, you can do that. So you have a whole bunch of really cool controls coming with reviews. And then we also do have the ability to add videos to your product listings and more. So those are 2 big features that are coming soon.
And then you're also doing the digital downloads.
We are working on digital downloads right now. We don't have an ETA for that, but we are working on the ability to attach product files or download links to your products so you can deliver additional digital products to your customers. So you can use this in a few ways. You can sell a physical product alongside of a digital, or you can just choose to sell a digital product, such as a PDF or maybe a audio or something else. And we will have more information on that soon. That's brand new. We just started writing code for that, but we are working on that ability.
Yeah, very cool. All right, well, let's wrap it up then. I don't see any other questions coming in. I appreciate it, Josh, for taking the time to do that. I did want to share with everybody that there is a link. Matter of fact, why don't you share your screen real quick and show them that link you showed me earlier, where all those videos and stuff come. Hope you just removed your screen.
Yeah,
I want to share that Canny link or whatever it was.
Yeah, so whenever you're in your account, can you see my screen? I just want to double check.
Nope, your screen's not sharing anymore.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, what about now?
Yep.
Okay, so whenever you're in your account, we have a notification bell icon right here. And whenever we post new features, this bell turns red, and you can see all of our recent updates here. So at any time, whenever you want to check those new features, just click on this bell, and then you can click here, and this will take you basically, it's loading, and you can see our updates. And if you want to go to the actual website, you can click on this link right here. This will take you to our feedback portal. This is not only our feedback portal, but it's also our change log where we update you on big feature updates. And for example, here I am on the shipping feature. And if I let this page load, you'll see that we have additional features, or I'm sorry, videos and some text descriptions of some features. And you can see the dates and times. You can share these with people. And while I'm here, we also have the feedback portal. And if I go here, you can see our feedback portal. And so this is where you can come in here and you can list all the features that you want to see coming to Launchcart. You can submit requests. Our team reviews these. And once we complete this feature, we actually send notices back out to you, letting you know that that feature has been done. So it's a great way for you to get updated on, and you can get updated personally if you submit an actual request here.
Yeah, so a good thing to do here is you first go there and like type in the search bulk, like bulk editing. I want to have bulk editing. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I told them it's already here, right? But you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 bulk designs. Now, I don't know if they're the same or not, but the idea is you can search for the feature you want before you add it. And then hopefully you're going to find it because you're not the first person that's asking for it. And then you vote for it. And you vote for it just by clicking on the number to the left of it. Like click on one of those, Josh. So you'll see how it
going to
changes.
3 dots. But they could be anywhere. I said I was going to put them in a triangle. That's kind of...
See how it changes color? Because now he's voted for that. So we want you to look for it, search for it, then vote for it, and then you can kind of just scroll through. Now go back to the main page and sort by top and sort by trending, and you can basically then you can cast your vote on as many things as you want. And you can see the top things that have been voted for are all in progress. And then once we get those 3 big things launched, we'll be working on the next things in progress.
Yeah, so we keep this pretty updated on what we're working on. If we're working on a big feature that's in here, we like to always stay on top of this, and we like to tell you if it's in progress. We also give you updates. Like I said, I'm going to update this. I'm going to update some of these today and put out some personal updates on things that people have voted on and let them know where it's coming. And then as we create new features, if they're not in here already, we put that feature in here. And we'll create updates, and we'll let you know the progress of it, if it's in progress, if it's been completed, if it's been delayed, or maybe for certain features, and this is pretty rare, but if there's a feature that we know we're not going to build in, we might remove it, or we might tell you that that's something we don't plan to do, which is pretty rare. But we definitely like to keep you guys in the loop as far as what the development team is working on, so you can see what's coming.
Okay, well, let's call it a day. With that being said, if you're watching this or you've been watching, please comment below because it helps us with our social media engagement. And like it, comment it, share it, and make a comment somewhere on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're at. And let us know that you watch us. Let us know your thoughts. And we appreciate your business. So hang in there. Do what we do. Wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude and tell somebody you love them. You have a better day. Talk to you later. Thanks.